Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart, and what a reveal and what a big spring and summer we have lined up for Warhammer the Old World. Beastmen Brayherds are on the way, Wood Elves have been shown as well, and of course the news of Grand Cathay. This is huge. Every now and then Games Workshop genuinely surprises us, and this is huge news. Loads of news. 3 factions revealed all at once. 2 we knew were on the way, but Grand Cathay, wow. Perhaps understandably the reveals for the Wood Elves first and then the Beastmen were relatively brief in the reveal show, but that's because they were getting on to the big news of Grand Cathay. The articles are now up and we will go through them in this video as well. There's a little bit more detail about what's coming back for Beastmen Brayherds and for the Wood Elf realms. And then they hit us with the big stuff, the big reveal of Grand Cathay finally. And I don't want to diminish at all the news around Beastmen Brayherds and Wood Elves. I'm very excited about those returning. And in many ways, they are more Warhammer to me right now than Grand Cathay is. But we can guess what's coming with those armies. We have grand army lists already. People are playing those factions. And we're looking at these pictures now of things that we have never seen before outside of Total War 3. And of course, it's a slightly different aesthetic in a computer game, and while the studios have clearly worked together, this is brand new, and they do a great job with these really theatrical reveals, and they're really fun to watch. And I imagine there's lots and lots of people that are just as excited as I am to see a brand new faction for Warhammer Fantasy, Warhammer the Old World, for the first time in decades. And there's so much to be revealed as well. This is all plastic release for a brand new army. We've got infantry, we've got cavalry there, we've got flying lantern ships, and we have a big terracotta walking beast, and later on we'll have dragons and character models as well. Loads and loads of scope. Loads of really beautiful artwork here. I can't wait to delve into the Arcane Journal and really get to grips with this army. The reveal talked very much about this being an elite army, so we're not seeing the peasants that are in the Total War 3 game. Those are standard peasants with the spears and pikes and stuff. I wonder if that's something that might come along with a later theme, but we've got plenty of elite Jade Warrior troops, both mounted and on foot, and some really cool and dangerous cannons and rocket batteries. And then you'll see a little bit later on, obviously, those flying lantern ships, those big walking constructions, and also a character that can change between a dragon and a human form, which just sounds amazing. Transfers, decals, so all of these beautiful designs you see on these miniatures apparently going to be available as transfers, which is absolutely fantastic because they'd be a nightmare to paint. And these big constructs just look absolutely stunning, and the different versions have different abilities, and I'm really looking forward to sort of delving into those rules. But again, such a wow reveal here. We've got the character here which descend from the dragons, I believe, or they mentioned something along those lines, and no doubt that will come up in the article as well in a little more detail. And also we got your standard sort of character packs here, your generals, and this could be your BSB as they mentioned on the reveal as well. And very cool miniatures. They look like they're going to be that same scale or size as those Bretonnian knights on foot. And then of course we have our cover of the Arcane Journal, and then they finished off with the really big dragon at the end here, which can also convert into human form. And if you're a player of Total War 3, which I am not, you'll be very familiar with the way these things work in game, or at least in terms of the lore and the way they fit into the wider universe.
Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counter Attack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems, and offer custom items to suit your club or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Make sure you check out their Old World compatible range. It's expanding all the time. New ranges are being added soon. Look at these fantastic generals tokens to help those of you who are forgetful remember in-game effects and spells and things like that. And look at these Old World Legacy Army token sets as well. Again, more of these are being added all the time, and very nice they are. Check out the link in the video description.
So let's head over to the full articles now, and we'll start off by looking at the Wood Elf Realms and the Beastmen Brayherds, and they'll give us a bit more detail around what we saw in the sort of release video. And these, as I've already mentioned, were much briefer than the huge reveal that was Grand Cathay, which was absolutely understandable. So you've got this lovely battle scene of these final 2 of the 9 original factions. We're now moving on to 10 core factions, but the 9 original factions, these are the last 2 facing it off in front of the forest in the old world. And so the Beastmen Brayherds Battalion and Arcane Journal. So 61 miniatures in the box, huge horde, 30 lowly Ungors, 30 savage Gors, a towering Cygor or Gorgon, and 2 sets of the new Beastmen Brayherds transfer sheets comprising of 204 transfers on each. They were really interesting. I'm not sure where you're putting all these transfers. I don't mean that as a negative way. These transfer sheets are great, but a lot of these miniatures, they've got details on the shields and things already, so it'll be interesting to see what they're like and how useful they will be. And then, of course, we have the Arcane Journal, which is one of the most sought after things that really changes the game and the meta and the way people play. And 48 pages as usual. And of course, now we find out what those armies of infamy are. So we have the Primal Wild Herd, the all-devouring Minotaur Blood Herds. So the Minotaurs is cool, something that many people would ask for or predicted. Be interesting to find out what the Primal Wild Herds are. And of course, you have all your rules in there for your new extra magic items and things, and there'll be a dice set and a reference card pack as well. Returning plastic miniatures. Obviously, you've got a couple of characters there, your Brave Shaman and your Beast Lord. A lot of these are very familiar with players of Age of Sigmar, because I imagine we're going to find here this is much of the returning range. And then let's have a little flick through some of that range. There is your Ungors there, and then your Gors, so that the core of your army, and what you'll find in that battalion box, your Bested Gors as well. So all these returning kits, your Minotaur kits, nice to see them painted in a different way. I remember these when they came out at the end of 7th edition. They weren't the best received, and they looked a little bit too muscly. I've actually got some on the painting table right now, to look out for a future video, or very soon video coming out with these. And I'm going for a deeper red paint scheme like this for the whole army, and I think they look a lot better like that. And then we've got all of the big beasties as well, more traditional paint schemes there, but looking absolutely fantastic. So that's your returning plastics. Returning resin miniatures. Well, this isn't returning, this is a new miniature, isn't it? This is the new character Crowmore, which has already been revealed alongside the last army reveal, the last reveal back before Christmas. And then we have some other cool resin miniatures. I believe that's your Dumble there. This is a very interesting old miniature there. We definitely have the Jabberslife there and the Cockatrice. So this must be, if I scroll down, because I don't recognise it, this must be the Hideous Praeton. I don't remember that, but very, very cool. Someone that's used to the older armies will no doubt put in the comments, but that's something I just don't recognise. It's very rare with fantasy miniatures that I don't think I've ever seen it before, but I just don't recall it. And then we have some returning metal miniatures, so these will interest people that like the older ranges as well. So you get some of your older, really cool characters and things as well. So chieftains and banner bearers and centaurs. So really cool to see those coming back. I do like these old metal centaur miniatures, even though no doubt they'll be a little bit more of a pain to put together than the more modern plastic ones are. And of course, there are a few other expected additions as well. We got the Razor Gore and we got the Tuskor Chariots, and not everyone's a massive fan of that version of the Razor Gore, but I don't hate it. The eyes are a little bit strange, but they definitely look pretty gruesome and pretty scary, which I understand is probably the point. So then we have the Wood Elf Realms Battalion and Arcane Journal. This looks to be really quite flexible in the way you can build it, and we'll come on to that in a second. But 62 miniatures, of which 32 are Glade Guard, so more than half there are Glade Guard, but that's absolutely what you'd expect. But you also have 20 Wild Rangers and then 10 Wild Riders as well. However, all these miniatures have got alternative builds. So you can build Deepwood Scouts, Eternal Guard, and then Sisters of Thorn, which are quite popular in the game. So that's quite interesting. Looks like a battalion box with a lot of use, and a really good start to the core. As I'd say, is the Beastmen as well. Most people, unless you're going for a full monster mash, you're going to need your gore and ungore and things as well. And of course, you get transfers just the way we did with the other sets. And of course, we move on to the Arcane Journal for the Wood Elves. Again, same thing. Much excitement around them, really changes the meta in the game, or potentially do if those armies of infamy get played a lot. And the way we talk about things online is so much around the match play and what's competitive kind of thing. But obviously people play in many ways. I'm a very casual narrative style gamer myself, so I'll play things regardless. But see, a lot of the noise that you find on YouTube and on other places will talk about how effective things are, and that's where a lot of the excitement is. But in this Arcane Journal, we have 48 pages again, and then we have rules and background for Orion, the King of the Woods, and Araloth and Lord Talsin, as well as armies for both. So it looks like the armies of infamy are based around those themes for Orion. I'm guessing it's going to be spirit based and tree spirits and all that kind of thing, as tree men maybe. So it will be interesting to see Lord Talsin and how that works. So really cool, looking for that. New kindreds by the looks of things. There'll be new magic items and things as well. Then we have the returning plastic miniatures, and again, I don't think there'll be too many surprises here. We saw this miniature in the reveal, so the standard sort of plastic lord. We've got our Glade Guards, the things that we're going to be finding in that battalion box, your core troops there, and a lot of these, as we already know, can be built in alternate ways, and nice to see them all back again. And really, really cool. A lot of this range stands up very well. Some of it was refreshed quite late in 8th edition, and some of these miniatures are from that era as well. And then again, of course, we have the returning metal miniatures, and there is Orion. So we're going to have some really, really cool things coming back, some classic characters. I've always loved that one in the middle at the back there, but some really, really cool sculpts. The Wood Elf range has always been something I've been very fond of. Some of my first miniatures actually as a young teen. So some of these are very, very cool, and I'm sure people will love them, even if it's going to be a nightmare to pin the wings on some of these metal eagles. They might not travel so well. It is cool for collectors who want to see them again. Then we move on to the last bits. At the bottom, we've got mages on great eagles. We've got branch wraiths and way stalkers. And then, of course, the old tree men. And it's something we kind of knew was going to happen, I think, based on the pictures in the main rulebook and in the main army list, is that they were returning to the older non-plastic tree men and things which have been stolen over to Age of Sigmar as part of that range and not being given back to fantasy. So we do have these, and I imagine it will be the same. It's shame in some ways, but these old miniatures are pretty cool as well. And then, of course, the really big news of today, and it feels so strange doing that and not spending loads of time just focusing on one of their armies, but we're on the third army that's been revealed today, and of course that's Grand Cathay, and I advise you to go and watch that full video. You've obviously seen snippets in here in this video earlier on without the sound, but do go and watch that in your own time. It's really, really cool to see. But there we have the Grand Cathay Battalion in all of its glory, and that's a really, really beautiful looking box. Who knows how it will play? Those of you maybe that have played Total War 3, but it looks like a really cool, pretty rounded army. I'm guessing the miniature numbers are pretty much the same, so 50 plastic miniatures. This is a balanced core of 30 Jade Warriors, and they can be deployed as 2 units of 15 or 3 units of 10, and they're supported by 10 Jade Lancers who can be split into 2 units of 5 with full command. So it looks like there's plenty of options on those plastic sprues to build those in many different ways, so we won't be short of parts. And the fact that there are 2 cannons in there as well, I'm guessing that it's a multi-part kit that can be built in the way, so if you could have 2 rockets and 2 cannon as well, which would be interesting. I'm assuming there, I don't think that's said there in the article. I really like the ogres as part of the crew as well. Nice to see new ogre miniatures in Warhammer the Old World. And here we have a closer look at the Jade Warriors, which are your core troops for your army. And you can be built in two ways, your hand weapons and your shields, or with your spears there. And it's really interesting. They mentioned that they were elite, and rather than seeing the peasants and things that you do in Total War 3. And I wonder if that is just based around how do you launch a whole new army with nothing existing that needs so many more plastic miniatures. Maybe in future releases we will actually see that they'll bring out that kind of troop as well, but right now it would just be too much. We have the Jade Lancers as well, so the cavalry, so the same kind of elite trained troops, I am guessing, and I'm really looking forward to delving into the lore around these more. And they look absolutely stunning as well. I have no idea how they'll play or how good they are, but I really like the theme of the overall army so far. And as we've already seen in the battalion, we have the Cathayan Grand Canyon, and look at that ogre there. He is really cool. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those and I can get them painted. And we've got the Fire Rain rocket battery as well, which again I'm pretty sure that's going to be a kit that can be built in either way, so you can have two of one or two of the other. And then we have the Schengen Lord on Great Spirit Longbow, which is absolutely stunning miniature. So very, very cool. So over the years, the Celestial Dragon and his children have sired many great descendants. So as they mentioned in the reveal, and I think I might have garbled earlier on, descendant of the Celestial Dragon. So no doubt a powerful hero or lord level character there. And then we have the Gate Masters of the Celestial Cities. So these are going to be your sort of standard army characters, I'm guessing, and they mentioned a BSB, and that makes sense. So this will be a set where you could build them both ways, sort of footer mounted kind of thing. And you can just see how this kind of builds into the way the game works and the kind of miniature ranges that you needed. And I do like that kind of professional army approach that they're going for. Now, I have to say, this is just absolutely stunning. The Sky Lantern just looks incredible. I have no idea how weak that looks with those ropes. At least this is all plastic and there's no resin here, but it looks absolutely stunning. What a beautiful miniature. I imagine this will be quite expensive, but I really can't wait to hope to get a chance to paint one of these. I think a lot of people will be doing these armies. I imagine they're going to sell out quite quickly. Hopefully I'm very lucky and Games Workshop will send me a few things early. I'm very lucky to receive things. So it'll be nice. I doubt I'll receive one of those. That looks pretty big and pretty expensive, but you never know. So if anyone's watching, I would love to paint one of these. But they look absolutely stunning. Look at those close-up pictures. There's so much character in those miniatures. The face, there's just so much going on there. Really, really, really stunning modern design. Then we move on to the Cathayan Sentinel, another absolutely huge miniature by the looks of things. Really, really, really cool. Can be painted in different ways and works in different ways in the army based on what they said in that reveal. I think I prefer the Sky Lantern more in terms of a miniature, just absolutely the most drop-dead stunning thing for me so far as part of this reveal, but it's, aesthetics please different people, but this is really, really cool as well, and I imagine much easier to paint. I can get my head around with an airbrush with this one and produce something a little bit quicker, but very, very cool. I don't know if it says anywhere what that base size is, but it does look huge, and then obviously you can paint it in the different ways as well. So very, very huge, cool constructs there that will be a stunning centerpiece for the army. And then we have the Arcane Journal, and this was one of the big questions around how are they going to manage this for the game. And I thought they would need a larger Arcane Journal as a full army book, because we don't have the Grand Army that is in those core books that we have for all the others. But this is a 48-page book that gives you that Grand Army, I imagine. So let's read what it says. We only touched on the in-depth background contained in the Arcane Journal, Armies of Grand Cathay, a 48-page book that paints a detailed picture of this immortal empire and the alliances that build it into the nations of the old world. Inside you'll find the rules for the Armies of Grand Cathay, including their unique special rules, magic items, armor, and twin magic laws of yin and yang. So it sounds like this is the Grand Army. So maybe we will have a separate Army of Infamy style release, a second arcane journal for them that gives you those extra bits of flavour, and that may well be the way to go. I'm sure on some of those early releases it talks about sort of 3 different provinces, and I wonder whether there could be a follow-up book which does that, gives you those armies of infamy. And what a nice way of doing it there, so they didn't have to produce a bigger, more expensive book, so you can still get your sort of 48-page arcane journal. So a good way of dealing with it. I quite like it, but yeah, I'm really excited. I think that means we could find more in the future. And then we thought that could be it, and they surprised us with one more big reveal, and a huge miniature again. So Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, so this character changes between those 2 forms, and again, beautiful miniature. Still not my favourite. I love that Skylander for some reason, but I can't believe how many drop dead sort of stunning miniatures we've seen in this reveal. I think the internet, when it wakes up, because I'm recording this at the moment at 10 to 4 in the morning in the UK, but when it wakes up it's going to go wild. Obviously it is awake in America and probably already is going wild, and when I switch on the internet and look at my phone after I finish recording this, no doubt I will find that. But really looking forward to hearing what you guys think in the comments about these reveals, because there's just so much information here, and I'm going to have missed lots, and I'm not going to make this video an hour long just to try and go through in super detail. I'm sure there'll be hundreds of videos out there, but I wanted to give you an honest first reaction and start the conversation with you guys who watch my channel and watch my videos. So we'll end it there with pictures of my favourite miniature from the reveal, but let me know what your favourite part of this reveal is, and please do talk about Wood Elves and Beastmen Brayherds as well, if those are your favourite things. The Cathay reveal is going to take a lot of the oxygen out of those other reveals, so I do feel a little bit sorry for the Wood Elf players and the Beastmen players, but it's so much news, there's so much going on, and it's going to be a wild time on the groups, on the Facebook, and within the community in general, on the other YouTube channels and all the podcasts and things, talking about all of this information. And I think we're going to circle back to stuff and realise we missed it because of the sheer amount of information that's come out, and no doubt things will follow on quite quickly, and hopefully we'll get an announcement soon for High Elves Wave 2, which seems to have got lost down the back of the sofa, because once those are out, I wonder if we'll start seeing these things. Usually when things are revealed and we see pictures on the internet from Games Workshop, usually, especially when it's a painted miniature, you're looking at 3 months or so. So I'm predicting that we're going to see this stuff this summer. And the reason that Horus Heresy hasn't been announced as the reveal, at least I stopped watching towards the end, so unless it did come up at the end, is because that's coming later in the year. I'm just guessing, but my guess is that we are going to see a spring and summer, maybe leading into autumn, I suppose, of Warhammer the Old World, and it's really going to take the limelight and sort of finish that first phase of the game with 10 factions. All predictions, I don't know that. There could be an 11th faction around the corner, but it just feels like they're ending this sort of first big release cycle with a bang here. So let me know in the comments what you think. I'm really excited to get talking about this.
Thank you very much for watching the video. If you are new to the channel, do go and check out all the other stuff I have on there. Lots and lots of Warhammer the Old World, probably making up more than half of the videos. Hobby stuff, lots of painting tutorials, big projects, and some to camera stuff like this as well, where I talk about new releases and get all excited, and plenty of reviews of the books and the new miniatures when I receive them from Games Workshop, which I sometimes do, which is really, really cool. So do check them out if you are new to the channel. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, drop a comment below, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so you don't miss any future news like this. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out all the links in the video description. I have a Discord, which is a lovely friendly place to chat. I have a Patreon, which really is the best way to support the channel, and a few affiliate links and things as well. But thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.